Have you ever seen something that no matter how many times you watch it, you become even more irate? I've seen this video. I don't know how many times, and every time I see it, the sting of it does not wear away. I get more and more upset. If you haven't seen it, it's these three kids ranging from ages 9 to, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, not sure. I don't think all three of them are 9. I think they're all brothers, and so they all three can't be 9. But I think from what I've heard, 9, 10, 11, 12, not sure, but too young to be doing what they're doing, and too young to justify this mother, to even being their mother. I'm never one to advocate for social services to come in and to take children away, but there's some cases where it is justified. In this case, these children would be getting a big favor done to them if these children were removed out of this household. So if you haven't seen it, these are these children that they went into Walgreens here in Dallas, in the area, I'm not sure exactly where, and they decided to do whatever they've been taught and to speak how they've been taught to speak.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door. I'm cold. 10. Open this door. Oh, come on, Mom. Come on, Mom. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that. Dad do that.
You can open the door.
Bitch, Mom, I'll take it. I'm gonna open up this door because I'm not playing. All my fucking knows, y'all better open it. I'm not playing.
You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door.
Open up this door before we break this bitch.
Break it. Go ahead.
I'm finna break something up in this bitch. On God, I'm finna. You guys must be dumb. I would like that fight with 10 with y'all. Do not play with it.
You
Do
can
not
like that, but you can't open the door.
Do not play with it. Open this door, I'll trash it.
You can open it.
I will trash this off.
I'm closed. All right, we're sorry.
Open this door. Open it.
How does that even happen? How do kids get to that point? I'm going to say something that might sound unpopular. I'm going to say something that might sound harsh. I'm going to say something that might upset some people, but you know what? It's not me. This is God. Do you all remember in the Bible, you look in the Bible, and there are times where God tells people some things that, wow, I can't believe that God, that's a little harsh, Lord. Why that far? Let's go to 1 Samuel 15, and then we're going to go to Joshua 6. 1 Samuel 15, he says, now go and strike Amalek and utterly destroy all that he has, and do not spare. Look what he says, and do not spare him, but put to death both man and woman, child and infant, oxen, sheep, camel, and donkey. You're thinking, wait a second. One, what do the oxen and sheep do? What did the donkey do? What did the infants do? What did the children do? Why would you destroy all of those people? There seems like there's some innocence there, right? And then notice not just there, but also, how about Joshua 6:21? Joshua 6:21, it says, they utterly destroyed everything in the city, both man and woman, young and old, ox and sheep, and donkey with the edge of the sword. That seems to be a bit harsh, Lord. Why is God advocating for the killing of babies or children? Well, how about this story? Someone asked me this before. What's one of my favorite stories? I just threw this in for just giggles, but this is when the young children, the young ones, came up and mocked the prophet for his head. They came out, and as he was going up, by the way, the young lads came out of the city and mocked him and said to him, go up, you bald head. Go up, you bald head. First of all, anyone making fun of someone's bald head, they just don't know. It's almost like the ant making fun of the lion. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? So these kids are making fun of this man with a bald head, this prophet with a bald head. And so what happens? When he looked behind them and saw them, he cursed them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 female bears came out of the woods and tore up 42 lads of their number. Sometimes God seems like he's harsh. Sometimes he seems like he's harsh even with these young people. Can I tell you what's missing? Can I tell you what's missing in our society? Our society is missing delayed punishment and the harshness of it. In Ecclesiastes 8:11, he says, because the sentence against an evil deed is not executed quickly, therefore the hearts of the Son of Man among them are given fully to do evil. The more you take long to punish someone, the more they're going to become hardened. The more they're going to want to become emboldened to do what they're going to do. I got away with it so far. Remember, if you get away with your crime, your deed for a month, 2 months, 10 months, a year, and you get caught, in your mind, though, you have been all over that time before you got caught, you have been strengthened in your evil. You have been strengthened in those bad deeds, thinking that I can get away with this. And then when the punishment comes, that still hadn't always necessarily washed away the time that you have built up becoming hardened. And then when you get punished, if you get punished and you go to prison, where are you going to be? With other people who are hardened, who are wicked, who are after nothing but bad things, who have nothing but evil thoughts. I'm going to tell you about that in just a little bit, but I want to stay with this notion of dealing with bad children. And I'm going to say something, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get on my soapbox. I'm going to rant. And some people, particularly some folks who have the same skin tone as me, some of you guys are going to be upset. Don't care. Could care less on this one. If you're mad, fine. Get mad at someone else but me, or just altogether leave. Because what I'm going to tell you is going to be the truth. It's going to be biblical. It may be harsh, but I promise you it will be the truth. I am to the point where I'm sick and tired. I've been to this point for some time where I'm just sick and tired of folks making excuses for bad behavior, even in our community, especially in our community. And there was a time where you weren't allowed to make excuses. There was a time even during when folks want to talk about racism and things like that. There was a time when there was actual racism. And if there was someone out there, because there's always been bad people, even when there was racism, don't think that all the black folks during the time of Jim Crow, before that time, that all black people were good. No, there were some bad apples too. And so if you decide to rob a store or to commit a crime during this time, no one came and marched for you. No one, as a matter of fact, the word was, if you go out and break the law or do anything to bring shame or dishonor, you're on your own. Now, we'll march and picket and do things like that. If you were unjustly accused or beaten or thrown in jail, that's different. But you committed a crime? No, you got to go. Someone said something. We have these family reunions, the minor family reunion. There are two types of minors, M-I-N-O-R and M-I-N-E-R. And so someone did the history and found out that they all came from the same name, the same group. Here, I mean the blacks here who are minors, and we have some here in Texas, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and we were tracing how they got to be in these different areas. And what happened was there was one guy named Minor who, and we don't know for sure what happened because it was some time ago, but he apparently got involved with a white lady. The question was it by force or was it consensual? They said, we don't know, don't care, you got to go. So they weren't even going to tolerate what could possibly happen. The blacks at a certain time in our past would say, no, we're not tolerating those things. Today, we tolerate just about anything. We tolerate just about anything. Can I tell you, tell me if this doesn't sound like us. Now, this is speaking about Israel, but tell me if this text doesn't sound like us. He says, "Oh, my people, their oppressors are children." Sounds like us. "And women rule over them." Sounds like us. Our oppressors are children, and the women rule over us. Yeah, that sounds like us. More and more is becoming the case with America, but certainly with a large portion of the black community. Now, these people decided to make it worse. These youngsters, I don't know who's giving them advice. Apparently no one. Apparently there's no one giving these young folks any direction, because these same young kids decide to go back to TikTok and to defend themselves, or I don't know what it was they were doing, but they made it worse. They made themselves look even worse.
My mama did not know that.
How can we not afford food? We got more money than y'all. And we got clothes. Do y'all see food in that bag? Raw Greens don't even sell food. What you talking about? Dumbass people, y'all need to flow. Y'all dumb.
Oh, okay. Let me address this mother. Let me sit up. What y'all sit up right. So these people in the comments, what y'all got?
Now, by the way, this is not the mother. This is the sister of these boys. So it's these three young boys and the sister. You can tell they just had some outstanding upbringing. You can just tell. It's just evident. It's obvious that they come from fine stock.
I got to say to them.
Okay, so please, can people stop saying they mama poor, they can't afford food, our mama can't afford food. And second of all,
this little boy says second with a TH, second of all. You can't make this up.
Fully dressed. We got more money than you.
Second of all, y'all
Stay, get off dick. Y'all niggas about my sister. This is not my mama. This is my sister. She make more money than you. She got her own house. She pay her own bills. She got more shit than you. You broke. You ain't getting no more shit. And that was not food inside that bag. That was snacks and toys.
And if it was, yeah, that's what y'all like the fuck.
Matter of fact, everybody steal. Matter of fact,
y'all got food. Everybody that knows know y'all got food.
Y'all grown people.
But yeah, like at the end of the day, my mama did not know that they dropped off. But yeah, and everybody in the comments talking about their mom did.
Their mother didn't know. So, first of all, how does she not know? How does she not know? How does a mother not know where these young boys are? How is she just letting them go free and do whatever? This isn't the 70s or 80s when we were growing up. When I was back in the day, 70s, 80s, I'm not sure when this stopped. This apparently stopped. I know it stopped after I became an adult. But growing up in my time, I could go all over the city as long as I was back by a certain time. These kids apparently can do the same thing and do whatever they want and their mother not care. Because the next video that we should have seen was the mother on camera apologizing with these kids in the background crying because she beat the living snot out of them. That's what should have been happening. And then the next TikTok video that we should have seen were the police taking these kids away and either giving them justice, scaring them. I don't know what it was, but these kids feel like they have a right to do this. There is no punishment. There is nothing to hold them back. There's no shame. This is the older sister justifying this. So if this is the way these three younger siblings were taught, as the way this older sibling was taught, that comes from the mother. We haven't even gotten to the fact that there's no father around yet.
This day, mama, that bitch, my mama did not know that.
How can we not afford food? We got more money than y'all. And we got clothes. Do y'all see food in that bag? Raw Greens don't even sell food. What you talking about? Dumbass people, y'all need to slow. Y'all done.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
okay, get my money.
Tell them y'all do that.
Hide the green robe is a character. Stop being dumb. Matter of fact, your family, you, fuck your life. Me and my robe out this shit. Y'all mad because y'all can't afford it.
Matter of fact, F your family, F your this, F your that, and the sister, she should be beat too. Some people just don't need to have children. I used to hear that and say, you can't say, but you know what? Some people just should not have children. Child Protective Service here in Texas, and by the way, they could be justified in coming and removing these children from an unhealthy and dangerous environment. Because if something would have happened and they would have gone to another store and the store owner would have had a gun, next thing we know, we're marching for these little bad kids. And yeah, by the way, kids are bad. Don't say all kids are bad, because all of us are. There's none good, especially them. But when you look, when being a human being, and you can look at these kids and think that, because you don't, part of you feels, you feel sad for these kids. The other part you feel, you know what, they need punishing. They need a severe punishing. Can I give you a text that applies? Let me give you a text that applies. We've covered this before. This is Proverbs 22:6. Train a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart. And I've talked about this before, how this text is not saying that if you train them right, then when they get old, they will do the right thing. That's not what this text is saying. This saying is if you train them according to, and the way that it says, according to the mouth of his way, this word right here that's highlighted on your screen. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you all can see this. What's highlighted is the Hebrew phrase al pi derko, which is upon the mouth of his way, the way that he wants to go. If you train a child according to the way that he wants to go, then when he's old, he won't depart. So if you train a child like these three gangbangers, if you train them the way they want to go, they want to be thugs, they want to be hoodlums, they want to be hood, they want to be whatever you want to call them, that's how they want to be. And if you train them that way, then when they're old, they will not depart. Now, I know where they're going. If nothing happens, if nothing changes, I know exactly where they're going. Well, I take it back. There can be one of three places that they go. One of three places that they'll go. Two places I haven't been yet. The three places are prison, 2, the grave, 3, the hospital. And I wouldn't even put the hospital in there because you're not gonna say the hospital. But third part is the streets, meaning homeless, strung out on something. More than likely, though, it's going to be the grave or prison. More than likely, it's going to be the grave or prison. Can I show you something? And I hope that YouTube doesn't strike me for this or deem that this video is not acceptable. But this is a place that I used to live.
Ooh.
Where are you going?
Oh, shit, there's a bunch of them out there.
Where?
Right there.
Start.
Ooh.
Where are you going?
Where niggas are running to? It's good. It's over.
This is Beaumont. Where in Beaumont? This is the federal prison in Beaumont. This is somebody on the yard getting jumped. Don't know what the reason is, but this is what's happening. And then you see the guards showing up with the pepper spray. And then at some distance, you won't be able to see it because Beaumont is a level 7 yard. So when things like this happen and you see why the guys are so compliant and they get on the ground, because there are officers around with rifles who, if you don't get down after the first command, then you are going to be shot.
Where's it at?
Y'all ran to the other side.
I can't see nobody.
Now, I want to pause it right here because what you're looking at now is the result of what happens on these yards. Those young fellas, this is what they can look forward to. This person right here is notice he's not being carried away. It's probably a little bit too late for him. He's been drug away to the infirmary because he's been beat or even possibly killed. This is the result. Now, with that in view, let me read a text. Let me read something to you. Let me read some passages. He who withholds his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him diligently. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of discipline will remove it far from him. Do not hold back discipline from the child. Although you strike him with the rod, he will not die. If you beat them, the King James Version says, he shall not die. If you beat them, if you punish them, if you discipline them, then being drug away on a prison yard. Could you imagine getting a phone call that your child, 20-something-year-old, 30-something, 40-something-year-old child was killed in prison in a fight? It happens every day. It happens every day in federal and state prisons. How'd they get there? How did they get there? Oh, I know exactly how they got there.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door.
I'm cold.
10. Open this fucking door. I'll come.
That's how they got there. Now, this is, by the way, some of you all know the story. This is my cup Joey. You all know where I met him at. I know exactly what it's like in prison. I know exactly who you're going to find in prison. I know how they got to prison. And I know why a lot of them never leave prison or die in prison. Because it's that attitude. And it's the attitude that people want to go and try to coddle and try to make excuses and defend them. These are the worst of the worst. Now, there's a chance because they're young where they can grow up and be productive. But right now they're on their way to hell. But also in the meantime, between now and the time they die, if they don't change, they are going to terrorize other people. They are terrorizing Walgreens. Now, Walgreens has the wherewithal to absorb that financial hit. These kids are going in stealing. They have no parenting. So Walgreens is not the only place that they will stop at. They can go anyplace else. They will probably even do it in the presence of their parents. What if they go to someone's shop and that person cannot afford to lose that much product? What do? We would be upset if the owner pulled out a gun and shot them. But the owner would be justified. And I'm not advocating that we go out and start killing kids, but what's happening now is we are seeing kids who also we find them armed as well. And I don't know why I didn't do this. Where's my phone? You know what? I'm sorry. I was looking for the clip that I was going to show you guys earlier, where it's going to be just these. This is a picture of in Chicago where this guy pulls up, and there are 3 10-year-olds. 3 10-year-olds. The man pulls up. And those 10-year-olds all have guns on them. 3 10-year-olds, the man pulls up and says, hey, what are y'all doing out here? Oh, we're not doing anything. We just, and that's at nighttime. and these 3 10-year-olds, again, 10 years old, have guns on them. Now, it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure, it doesn't take a lot of muscles to pull a trigger. So a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, 11-year-old, a 12, a 13-year-old can easily do the same thing to you. Their minds are not developed. They probably don't fully understand what they're doing. But if you are in their line of fire, do you have to sit and wait for their brain to develop before you could decide to defend yourself? No. This is the result of bad parenting, a godless society. That's the result of it. People who don't want to be disciplined, people who don't want to be held accountable, and it's bothering me more and more because these oftentimes are people that look like me. Bothers me so much. I can't tell you. I saw another video where someone's saying, why are you guys worried about the 3 black teens, 3 black kids, and not worried about some white girl in a pink jacket in the mall. I didn't see it where she was doing something similar. Well, let me just say this. The white community is not being terrorized by some rogue white girl out there, or roving bands of white girls, or for that matter, roving, marauding bands of white boys. But the black community is. The black community, when you go somewhere and you see a crowd of young black boys, you know Bible study is not about to break out. You know that they're not up to charity. They're not out to help someone. That's simply not what's not on their mind. Let's call it what it is. And for the person that wants to say, Corey, you don't like your own, shut up, please get somewhere, go somewhere. You're the problem. You are more than the problem. You're part of the problem. You're the one that's opening the doors for these young kids to go out and do what they're doing. You're going to make defense. And I feel bad for the people that live in Chicago because you got a mayor who would justify this stuff and coddle these kids. They are kids, but guess what? Kids go to hell too. Let's be honest, tell the truth, shame the devil. Kids go to hell too, and these kids are being helped into hell by adults. We make excuses for the degradation of this community. There are only a couple of people that I can think of that the world will allow bad behavior and make excuses for. Can you think of the communities, the people that the world will allow bad behavior from and make excuses for and even promote it? I can name two groups. The black community and the alphabet, the LGBTQ community. Yeah, we're allowed to exhibit bad behavior and then people are going to make excuses for it and even promote it. Oh yeah, all you have to do is show some foolishness, some ignorance, put a beat on it, sell it on an album. You can do that. Or you can get popular on YouTube or TikTok doing absolutely ignorant, stupid things. Acting ghetto, acting trashy, acting ratchet. Yeah. Or you can be sexually perverted and the world will make excuses for you. Those are the only two that I can think of that, and there might be someone else, but those are the only two groups that I can think of where you can exhibit bad behavior, sinful behavior, and then have someone make excuses for you. Corey is going to blame the lack of leadership from men, not understanding men are at a huge disadvantage. Cephas, please be quiet with that. Not today. Not today. Not today. Not today. I'm not going to entertain the foolishness right now. Who do you blame? Cephas? Who do you blame? Are you blaming the kids? Now, the kids are going to be the one that are going to ultimately suffer the brunt of the punishment. Their lives are being ruined, but who do you blame? Where are the fathers? Cephas? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with the rest of some of you guys? So when a band of all these kids come and attack, and by the way, they're doing it, they're jumping on people, beating up people, stealing folks, they got guns, and what do? Feminism, no, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Read the Bible, Cephas. Read the Bible. You do realize, I don't know if you understand how biology works, but those kids don't show up without a man. There has to be a male who implants the woman's egg. Even if she's a feminist, her egg needs to be implanted by male sperm. And then, pew, he's out. He's gone. You can call it what you want. You can say what you want to say. You can give excuses, but that's part of the problem. It is. It is. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Who wants to live around a large group of blacks nowadays? Whites don't, Hispanics don't, and blacks don't want to live around a bunch of blacks. Why? Because you got a few people. Now, is this indicative of the black community? No. But what's the old saying? A few rotten apples spoil the bunch. It's just a few, but that's all it takes. And the problem with the few is that the majority comes back and defends them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You're going to say it's racism. It's that these kids have never seen Jim Crow, never seen segregation, never seen a slave plantation. Matter of fact, you guys haven't seen it either, but yet and still, that's the root. That's the problem. Shut up with that, please. Stop making excuses for bad behavior. Stop making excuses for sin. If you make excuse for sin, I do have a verse for you. I do have a verse for you if you make excuses for sin. How about this passage? And although they know the ordinances of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, they not only do the same, but also give hearty approval for those who practice them. Now, we use this as we talk about those who are engaged in homosexuality, but go back and look at the list. The list is far more inclusive than just homosexuality. You want to see what the list is? God gave them over to a depraved mind to do those things which are not proper, being filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful, and although they know the orders of God, and so you want to come and give an excuse. You know what? Let me just say this. I love you all, but anyone that makes excuse for this, I can't hang with you. I can't be with you. I can't talk to you because you are. And I said I'm gonna pull back on some of the offensive language. I'll do it tomorrow. But you are idiotic. You are lost. You are deceived. You're the problem. I would love, just for a week, you know what? No, I need to make it worse than that. For a month, 2 months, 3 months, I'd love to have you locked up with them. Oh yeah, I would love to have you in close contact, close quarters with them. I would love to see your attitude be the same way. No. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can turn to and say this is the problem. No, the problem is you folks are out of control. You guys are making racists, you're making their jobs easier. You're making the racist job easier. All he has to do now is just close his mouth and just point, just right there. Right there. Point to the scoreboard. That's all he's got to do. That's all he's got to, because you know what you can blame it on anything you want to blame it on. You can blame it on, well, it's a lack of jobs, it's poverty, but you don't see poor white communities doing this. You don't see poor Native Americans communities doing this. You're only seeing it in one area. Why? Because again, it's okay to sell an excuse to us. We'll take the excuse. We'll condone bad behavior and even promote bad behavior. We can't come together on an awards show without there being some debauchery, something ghetto, something wicked. When we show up, we got our breasts out, we got our behinds out, we got our mid areas showing. We look slutty, we look trashy, we look all of these different ways, and then somebody's gonna come back and say, yeah, that's racist. You people are so. We got folks upset because some young white girl is wearing jeans and that's racist. A white girl is wearing jeans, and some of you colored folk are upset because a white girl is wearing jeans. Meanwhile, some black folks getting killed by some other black folks, and you won't look away. You are creating a mentality with these kids and other folks, by the way, because it's not just young kids. It's also teenagers. It's also those in their 20s. It's also those in their 30s. It's also those in their 40s. Can you imagine being 40 years old and hadn't grown up yet, feeling entitled? I got a huge problem with you. You see, the kids are systemic of you. They're the symptoms of you and your mentality. When I was growing up, now maybe this wasn't the way it was with everyone else, but when me, we weren't allowed to say, look at Johnny. Well, look at Billy. Well, Frank's family lets him, well, Johnny's mommy and daddy lets him do it. So you can't do it. And that's enough. But that's not how we are. That's not how we are. We can't discipline our own because, well, what about the white people? What about the Mexican folks? What about the Chinese? The only people in this that I can think of that also blame other people, look at them, us and gays. That's it. No wonder they want to latch on to the civil rights movement. No wonder. We got that in common. I said before, if someone came to this world and had to choose which race to be, they had to blend in and be somebody. And I got this idea. We were watching one day. What's the show? Men in Black. And the alien had to shape shift or whatever, become a human being. And so if you're going to become a human being, you got to pick what gender you want to be, male or female, and then you got to pick what race. I just wondered. It just dawned on me. How come you didn't pick to be a black person? They picked a nice looking white lady. Okay, fine. To blend in, you be a nice looking white lady. And then you pick this dirty, just, unclean white guy. The alien picked the unclean white guy to blend in society over just picking you could have been a nice, clean black person. Nope, sorry, not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. Why would you? Why? How do we represent ourselves? They used to say that you are a reflection of your upbringing, and so your parents would say, "Don't go out here and embarrass me." We are embarrassing our mothers, our fathers. We are embarrassing great aunts and uncles. We are embarrassing the slaves, whether they're in heaven or hell. We are embarrassing them. I said it before, and I stand by it. You can't find me a generation of folks that's worse in the history of the world. Get mad if you want to. Because we don't care who we kill. The most racist people ever at least cared about somebody. These kids don't care about anybody, much less themselves. And will shoot you in a minute because you take their phone away, because you disrespect them, because you say the wrong thing, because you don't let them steal something. And so now you're being held hostage and prisoners in your own community. And the sad part is we got folks that call themselves Christians that also want to turn around and defend this stuff too. If those kids went to juvenile and were there for the next 10 years, I'm not going to cry. I used to think that we ought to figure out a way to be, what's the word? Not as harsh, showing some mercy when we're dealing with these kids. But I found this out, that at the point that we get these kids, they are beyond the stage where you have to show some mercy too. The way that you show real mercy, the way that you show real grace, the way that you show real love. Remember what God says. Let's go back to this. These aren't my words. He who holds his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him. How? Diligently, harshly, with intentionality. By the time we see these kids at that level, the soft punishment, the merciful discipline, that's gone. That should have happened the first time. The notion of being, lenient, the notion of having some sort of gentle correction, that left about the same time that you stopped putting them in timeout. So now they need handcuffs. Now they need harsher discipline. Now they might need juvenile or prison. Now, these are the kids. Now, I want you all just to think about something for a second. I want you all to think about this for a second. Let your mind go. We're only going to be here for another minute or two. I want you to think about this. Hold on one second. I got to. She said, Gen X and baby boomer 50 plus, you old heads, crime was far worse in the 80s and 90s. You think so? You think crime was worse in the 80s and 90s? First of all, murder is up now than in the 80s and 90s and the 70s and the 60s. Is that what you're telling me? Mass shootings are far greater now. Drug use is far greater now. Homosexuality is far rampant now. High school dropouts, the rate is higher now. I take it back. No, it's not. But certainly, achievement is a lot less, at least scholastically. So much so they've had to trim back on the questioning for the SAT. I think twice. So no, sweetheart, you've got that part wrong. You got that part wrong. You know what we wouldn't do? At our worst, and listen, I live in a gang-infested area. The gangs were, you know what gangs didn't do? Gangs wouldn't let you go up and assault a woman. Not in my day, because if you did, the other gangs were going to deal with you. No, sorry. Heck, even the winos had better manners. When they walk up to you, what are they going to do? Tip their hat, take their bottle, put it behind their back. Yeah. No. See, it'd be different if you lived in the 80s and the 70s and 60s and 50s. It'd be different if you did. It'd be different if you did. Now, what you could say is the parenting from that generation is bad. And the reason why the parenting from Gen Xers and who comes after the Gen X? What y'all tell me? I don't know which, because I know we got Gen X, Gen Z, millennials. I think we have a Gen A now. I don't know who we have. Which generation comes after that? I'm not sure. Someone help me out. I have no idea who's what. But you could say this. You could say in terms of parenting, we were worse parents than our parents were. You could say, what's the next group? Gen moron. Millennials? Okay, millennials, fine. You could say that they're even worse. But the reason why our parenting was worse is because we parented our kids like our parents parented us, not realizing, taking into account that the world has changed. So you couldn't parent kids today like you did then. We had the notion of leaving kids alone because we were left alone. We didn't have this constant supervision. We can be by ourselves and do whatever, and then you knew if you did wrong, you got in trouble. But in this society, it's a little bit different. As a matter of fact, if something happens to the kid, if the kid falls, if the kid breaks his leg, then you got CPS coming to check on you, see if you did something wrong. Isn't it funny though? CPS will come and deal with you if you're disciplining your kid, but if you don't discipline your kid like these little gangbangers here, then CPS is nowhere to be found.
Come on, mom. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that.
Okay,
Dad do that.
Count. You can open the door. Open the door.
I'm gonna open up the door because I'm not all I fucking know.
Yeah, the CPS is nowhere to be found. CPS is nowhere to be found. So, and by the way, this is not a generational issue. It's a sin issue. because there are parents who are baby boomers who have children today. Yeah, there are some. There are parents who are Gen X who have children who are part of the problem. There are parents who are millennials and the next one who are part of the problem. This it's a sin issue. It's a cultural thing. We know it's cultural because there's some cultures, there are some places in the world where this just doesn't happen, irrespective of what your generation is. It's a cultural thing. What it really is, it's an American, it's a Western thing. It's a Western thing. And it's not just the West, because there's certain Eastern cultures where the gangs and the terror is just as bad. But no, it's a cultural issue. And the bad part is we got folks in this culture, especially those who call themselves Christian, who will justify this. I wish that there was a place that everyone who justifies this stuff and engages in stuff, that you could all just hang out and live together. I wish you could. I wish we could find a spot for every last person who has an excuse for them, who thinks it's makes excuse for their race, make excuses for their financial wherewithal, who, whatever your excuses are. Feminism. Take the excuse makers and the lawbreakers and put them together. If the lawbreakers don't beat up, kill, torture the excuse makers will change their tune. But this bothers me. And you know what's sad? Do you know why this bothers me the most? The reason why this bothers me the most is the same reason why it bothers you guys the most. Why does it bother you so much? Why does it bother me so? Why does it bother all of us so much? There's two reasons why this bothers us so much. Well, no, three. There's three reasons. Three reasons why this bothers us so much. One, because we've seen this over and over. This ain't the first time. If it was the first time, wow, what a shame. This ain't the first time. Number two, what bothers us is that this ain't the last time. Ain't the first time we've seen this? That's bothersome. Two, we know it's going to happen again. Three, what's bothersome about it? Nothing is being done about it. Nothing is being done about it. Because true wisdom is out the window. What we know we're supposed to do is gone. And somebody is going to come back. I can promise you. I can promise you. You said I misunderstood. Well, I apologize if I misunderstood you. You said you're not using feminism as an excuse. Okay. Feminism is a real problem. You're right. Feminism is a problem. But feminism is, you know what feminism is like? Feminism is like blaming high blood pressure on your health issues on high blood pressure. No, because feminism didn't get there by itself, nor did the high blood pressure. You can't blame high blood pressure and then go back and start eating fried chicken and fried fish and French fries and everything else, and then sitting around on the couch and not move, and then go eat some pizza and some Philly steak cheese, what have you. No. I'm sorry. High blood pressure is not the issue. It's what caused high blood pressure is the result of something. That's the point. These things happen as a result of something else happening. Women who have lost their place could only have lost their place if men had lost their place. God has charged men with a certain responsibility, and men have abdicated that for the sake of getting along with women or getting along with society. I don't know what it is. Placating the society. I don't know what it is. But because men have lost their way, well, then who else is going to lose their way? Women and children. Why did you think, let me go back to the text. This is why he says, "Oh, my people, their oppressors are children and women rule over them." Notice who's missing from this. Strong men. And not one feminist, I would say this to a room of feminists, not one feminist would or could resist a stronger man. They just hadn't seen him. And so it's easy. Feminism is not a new thing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stop. I don't know why are we on this? Feminism came in the late 1800s. We go another 100 years before we see this destructive society. So we can't blame it on feminism. No, we blame it on sin and bad behavior and bad ideology. This is people not having backbone, heart, and a sound mind. This stuff is clear and obvious. And next week it'll be something else. And the week after that it'll be something. As a matter of fact, the next day, tomorrow it'll be something else. I'm pretty sure somebody's recording something stupid right now that somebody black is doing right now. Yeah, I'm talking about black folks. I'm not. What about the white man? What about him? What about him? Have you all just ever stopped and look at the income levels, the median income of blacks, Hispanics, whites, Indians, Pakistanis, Koreans? Have you ever just stopped and look at the income level? Have you ever stopped and looked at the scholastic achievement levels of those groups? Have you done that? Have you looked at the incarceration rate? But Corey, because society is so racist, that's why you got so many black folks in prison. No, let me tell you why you got so many black folks in prison. The reason why you got so many black folks in prison is because you got so many black folks committing crimes. You can say what you want to, but me and Joey know the truth. Go to prison, ask the inmate, say, did you do it? Yeah, I did it, but I shouldn't have got this much time. I did it, but I should not have gotten this much time. The white man don't get this much time. Well, how many times did you do what you did to get in prison? Oh, this is my 4th time, but still. Oh, really? So you are not just a repeat offender, you are a 4-time offender. So your criminal level, your criminal history is in a different category, and you think they're supposed to give you the same amount of time as a person who's a 1st-time offender? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, but Corey, you don't understand, though. The reason why I had to sell drugs is because the white man brought drugs to our community. Did he really? Did he really? Did he really? You saw the white man come and drop off a bag of drugs in the community? Well, we don't have no planes. Did you really see a plane fly in the hood and drop off some dope? Is that what you're telling me? Again, more excuses. More excuses. More excuses. I'm so thankful. Let me tell. I told you guys this story before when my grandson 3, Anthony the third, when he went to the hospital, he had this sickness. He went to the hospital. I don't know what it was. It was a slight touch of pneumonia. And when he got to, you know what? I'm gonna hit this too real quick, Pastor Nick. I'm gonna hit this in just a second because I think you're making a point as well. But when he went to the hospital and he rode in the ambulance, do you know what the EMT said? There were two black EMTs that were there. And they said, man, it's just so cool because his mother rode there with him, which that makes sense. He at the time was he 4? He was 4. So his mother was there and his father. And the fact that they saw this mother and father who were married, all of them have the same last name, who were married, riding with their child. He said it does me so good to see this, to see a black man who's married to his wife, married to the mother of his child with their son. That does me good. And the cool part back at home was her black mother and father being married and his black mother and father at home. Remember, we live on this side of the street. They live on that side of the street. Our family over here, their family over there. That's how they met. So just think, to them, that was something else. Not knowing that there were two, that the previous generation was still there. We need more. We need more. We need more strong black family units. We've got strong white family units. We've got strong Hispanic family. Think about this. You've got Hispanic family units who are just as poor, who are sticking together better than we are. You need strong family units. And to Pastor's point, he said effeminate men is a major problem. You're right. You're right. We've got weak men. We got weak men who are effeminate. And effeminate doesn't mean that you are gay, but you're gayish. You're soft. And sometimes it doesn't even always show up because you may not be effeminate, but you could be soft and show up in your insecurities in the ways that you act, behave, and not do your job. So yeah, this bothers me, and it's going to bother me again next week, and it's going to bother me again the week after that, because again, ain't the first time, ain't the last time, and we got enough folks making excuses. Y'all forgive me if I took up your time with this foolishness, but there'll be some more foolishness next week. And again, I was sitting there one day looking at all of these. I clicked on something. It said Texas prisons. And it was just showing the same stuff that was happening in prisons. I was like, yep, I know that. I remember that. I've seen that. Saw this. One of the best things that can happen to a man is to come face to face with the truth and discipline. Let him come face to face with the cold, hard truth. And let it be backed up with some discipline, some force to hold him. That's how you learn. That's how you learn that don't put your hand on that hot stove. Why? The cold, hard truth is fire, is hot, and the discipline was the burn that you got. You learned which people to mess with, which people not to, which people to respect, because you had it growing up. But when you're 20 years old, 30 years old, the cop pulls you over, and then you want to, okay, all right, fine. Here comes the cold, hard truth, and here comes some discipline. They got a little too rough with you. I get it. All right, fine. All right. And when you go to prison, here comes the cold, hard truth again. Here comes the cold, hard truth again in prison, backed up with some discipline, either by the guards or by another inmate. Here comes the cold, hard truth again, backed up with some discipline. When you lose your job, when you say the wrong thing to your boss, when no one wants to hire you, when you have no achievement, here comes the cold, hard truth again, backed up with some discipline. Oh, here comes the real cold, hard truth again, backed up with some discipline, when you come face to face with an angry God who looks at you and asks you and sees what you've done with the life that he's given you. And you never placed your faith in Christ, and you raised your family, or your offspring, I should say your family, because you don't have a family. You just have some children out there. You raised them to be the same way, or you didn't instill in them, you did instill in them the stupidity that you had in yourselves. And so here comes the cold, hard truth, backed up with some discipline, where he says, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. And then you get to hell. You get to hell, and you got you a nice cozy spot in hell where you're being tormented, and you look over yonder, and what do you see? You see your children. You see your son. You see your daughter. You see your grandson. You see your nieces, your nephews. Because that's the legacy you want to live. Because I just want to do me. Okay. You'll do you in hell. And unfortunately, a large portion of folks that look like me, not that white folks are the best, the greatest thing ever. No, that's not what I'm saying. Or Hispanic or Asian. No. But there's no excuses for you to excel, to achieve, to exceed. When other people who look just like you or darker from a different culture, language barrier can come over here and outdo you, you can't blame it on racism. All you can do is blame it on yourself. And at some point in time, you're going to have to get sick of it. Amen.